Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Puck Watching. It's been a bit since the last episode, but there really hasn't been a lot to talk about, unfortunately, on the Blues end and the Blues news of things. But we're just wanted to stay in touch with you guys and make sure we're still here because there is some news to report. Maybe not all Blues related and maybe not all news related, but some fun things I think we have in store for this one. A little bit different than our normal, but we're going to be getting into a lot of different topics. We're going to be talking about the Central Division and what the Blues have in store for this year and all their rivals that they're going to have to deal with a couple times this season, who's going to be giving them the most trouble, along with a little bit of some hot takes as well from our Instagram followers that graciously did that 2 days ago, which was very nice of them just to see what the hot takes are going to be around the league and around the Blues. And then also a little Blues by the Decade mock draft, which should be fun between Nick and I, and hopefully will involve some viewer engagement to see which one has the better team. So maybe you can already put some odds on this to see who has the better one. I think we all know who's going to win this. It's going to be me. But anyway, before we get into this, I wanted to get a quick update from Nick, who's not in St. Louis right now. Nick, tell the audience of where you're at right now.
I'm in sunny SoCal right now. Orange County, Seal Beach to be specific. Vibes are good. High 70s, not a cloud in the sky. It's a beautiful one out here.
Yeah. And this is probably our last episode of me being in St. Louis, headed back to BC in just about a week, which will be back to normal. It'll be great to be back, see all the boys, and get ready to enjoy some BC football season. They just named their number one quarterback, Dylan Lonergan. Shout out to that guy. Definitely not watching. But exciting to see that they got the Alabama transfer as our QB1. So keep BC in mind this year, Nick. That's all I'm going to say.
I will not, but I appreciate the gesture there.
Well, Clemson may be in the top 5 this year in the ACC, but look no further. Boston College Eagles. They'll be nipping at their heels all season. Just watch it happen.
I bet.
Not sure if the Horned Frogs are going to be nipping any heels this year, but we'll see.
They're going to be nipping a lot of heels, the best heels.
Well, we'll see if Josh Hoover can get it done for them. But so just a quick update here. We just wanted to do some brief updates, but let's just get kind of right into it on our first couple things when it comes to Blues news here. So starting out, actually, before we get into Blues news, one more thing. I put on our little prep, Nick. Cards finding a groove. They ain't. I wrote that right when they got their first win over the Rockies, and now they have lost 2 straight against them. So not going to say that anymore. I don't think we need to talk about them that much unless you have anything else to say besides wild card hopes, maybe.
A fascinating season for the
is.
Cardinals. They have beaten the Dodgers on 2 separate series occasions, and they have lost to the Rockies in 2 separate series as well. So you have beaten one of the better teams in baseball twice in a series, and you have lost to one of the worst teams, and actually the worst team in baseball twice.
Yeah.
Kind of tough to do if you're a semi-okay team, because usually you would just flip it and you would lose to the Dodgers both times and you'd beat the Rockies. But that series was pretty critical, and they choked.
Yeah.
So that's a bummer. They keep doing this thing where they're pulling you back in and then they let the rope go and you just fall to your death and your hope plummets with it. That's what's been going on probably the last month now, but that one especially hurt because you're like, oh, the Rockies, you should totally just sweep them or take 2, and they did not.
Yeah. Every time you want to feel good about the offense, they just slowly disappoint. Today it wasn't actually that bad, but the pitching was the problem. But the offense yesterday was just abysmal. And the fact that you can't get a run off of a guy, I think he had a 5-something ERA, something crazy. But just pathetic. But again, we don't want to spend too much time on it. Just wanted to give a nod to the Cardinals and their struggles, but also City rebounded last weekend, which was nice to see. A little 3-1 win, ball watching. Hopefully you're enjoying that while you can, because not many wins this season for that club, but we're cheering them on.
Hey, they
So
beat Nashville. You gotta,
yeah, no,
raise the
Nashville.
banner. That's
Yeah,
a good win.
yeah. It's kind of like the Cardinals beating the Dodgers, just like in that series. Crazy how that ends up
Yes.
happening.
Mhm.
But anyway, let's get into some Blues stuff. So the one thing we missed for the Blues and their overall stats department, which was interesting, they won a Stanley for their app and for their overall their statistics and how they report on each of their players and all of that. Don't know much about that, but didn't really get much news anyway. But thought I'd throw it out there. So Blues doing some good things on their analytics end, which is nice to see because there's a lot of competition on that as well. But I need to probably dive into that more because I don't really see any reason for the Stanley. Maybe I'm just kind of ignorant. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. So we'll just wanted to throw that in there. But more importantly, this was an interesting one. So Thomas Parayko and Binnington, we failed to report about this. They're invited to the Canada Olympic camp, and Parayko and Binnington were guys that were on the Four Nations team, obviously, last season, and probably were locks again for upcoming. But Thomas was the one that people thought maybe got snubbed last season, especially for the season he put on, even though he was kind of coming off of being injured when all of that was being picked for the Team Canada. But here he is invited. Doug Armstrong's obviously the GM, so I feel like he kind of had to invite his best guy like Thomas. So I guess the question is, Nick, though, is can Thomas really make the team this year? He has a steep hill to climb, but what do you think?
I think he can. It just depends if Thomas stays healthy, which he was not healthy for 3 to 4 weeks last season. I think that hurt his chances at the Four Nations a bit. And then if everyone else on Team Canada right now stays healthy, it'll be harder. But there's going to be an entire half of hockey that's played. I would be pretty surprised if everyone was able to play in the Olympics. Obviously, we want everyone to be healthy just to make it the most competitive possible. But I think Thomas will have a shot either way, even if everyone is healthy. But it's gonna be tough. Like if you look at the list, Bedard, Byfield, Celebrini, Zach Hyman, Johnston, like all of these guys are very good. And you could absolutely make a case that they have better numbers and have had maybe more success than Rob has. But I think Rob is going to have a very good year, which makes me optimistic that he has a really good chance. But I'd say it's 50-50 in my opinion right now.
Yeah, I would agree, but I'd also say that this team for the Blues is going to really help his chances because I think a lot of the team now is figured out. And I think for Thomas, it's this thing of permanence that I think can really make him settle in a little bit more and make him perform better. Because I think when you look at last year, there wasn't a lot of certainty with the team and how they perform. And they obviously performed very well at the end of the season and end up making the playoffs. But he just didn't have that permanence all season with the line mates and all of that. Eventually figured it out. But I think that can, if they figure it out, who those line mates are going to be the whole time, I think we can see some really good success from them. I'm excited to see it. What do you got, Nick?
Those people that I named, just so everyone understands, those were people that were not on the team for Four Nations last year.
Correct.
So that's just how much depth there is for Team Canada. But a lot of very good names on that list, and Rob is going to have to battle for sure to get his name on a roster spot there.
Yeah, no, I mean it's so true. Like you named some guys that would probably be on an all-star roster anyway, but they're just guys that were excluded last year because it was too good of a team. So it's unfortunate. And there's some even bigger names that Scheifele, Tavares, like Tom Wilson, like those guys again didn't play last year and then are going to be invited this year and could easily make the team depending on the seasons that they have. Again, it all is dependent on that. So I mean, I think that there's a chance that Thomas makes it because I think at the time that the Four Nations was happening, I forget the exact number that he had when, like, January, February was rolling around. I bet it was like 40 points, something like that. He probably had, because I know he really turned it on after that, probably 40, 50 points. He probably has to have like 60. I'm talking like 15 goals and like, 45 assists, something like that, which should be like where he should be at. And if he has that and he attains that, then I think that he could easily make the team. But again, there's just so many guys that could have even better
Yeah.
seasons on the list.
No, I agree. And yeah, that'll be interesting to watch. Preco, I feel like he'll make it. But yeah, I mean, there are a bunch of people that are going to be vying for a spot there that are also very good. Montour, Mackenzie Weegar, Ekblad, Bouchard. Like these guys are very, very good. Dobson. So Preco's got to have another really good year as well. I thought he was good during Four Nations.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing ever is just saying, yeah, looks like Bennington's a lock for Team Canada. I think that's the funniest thing ever. And he deserves it.
Yeah.
But it does say a little bit about the depth for Canada when it comes to their goaltending. I think Bennington's a good goalie, but probably not in the top 5 in the NHL. And you would think a country like Canada would be able to produce maybe some more top tier talent, if you will. But I'm happy for Benner. He deserves it. He deserves everything he gets.
You would sure think so. But Parayko is going to be a tough one because, yeah, you won't have a guy like Pietrangelo competing for his spot this year, which is good for Parayko, even though he was on the team but got injured last minute, so he was replaced. But I'm talking like a Stanley Cup champion like Ekblad. Like that guy's won 2 straight cups. He's an outstanding player for the Panthers. He'll be vying for that spot. Bouchard, also Stanley Cup Finals 2 years in a row for that guy. And he's been a monster for the Oilers and has probably become like a arguably top 5 defenseman in the league for his talent. So that I think those 2 are the ones to keep out for and see if they can vie for his spot. Others definitely can, but again, Parayko though has to have a very similar season like he did, and he had an outstanding season last year. He had over 15 goals and just ruled the NHL or the Blues defense, and was easily the top one, and along with Fowler, which I think helped. But yeah, he's got to probably have a similar year. And again, he was one of the best defensemen in the NHL last year. And again, people don't talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it because he was awesome. So I think he kind of doesn't have as steep of a hill to climb as Thomas, but definitely has a hill to climb to make that team. So,
yep.
And then Doug Armstrong, but being the GM will help with that as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe tip the scales a little bit, in favor for the Blues. I think he really wants to give Rob the Team Canada nod, which I'm not for, insider stuff going on, but I am for that. So
yes, me too. But it's funny, when I was going over the Bennington thing, same goalies that were invited to last year's Four Nations are invited to this Olympic camp. But funny, really interesting. I never really thought about this. So he's 6'2". He's the smallest one of the 3, but not by much. 6'3" and 6'4" for the others. But the funny thing is that he's 172, which is, if you ever look at Bennington, like he is a small, skinny dude for being 6'2". But he's great at what he does. But 40-pound difference between Aiden Hill and Sam Montembeault. Pretty crazy.
Yeah,
215, 214, something like that for those guys. So, but he still has the edge. So, just funny to look at that and see how somebody can be, a little skinnier, but still can just be an unbelievable goalie and not cover as much of the net, but is mobile, which would get them. So very excited to see that as that kind of flows the next couple months. I'm sure the U.S. will come out with their own as well as the time goes on. So another thing we want to talk about is The Athletic came out with the Blues contract landscape, or not just the Blues, but the overall landscape of the NHL and where the Blues kind of fit with that. And the Blues are ranked the 19th best contract landscape in the league. So, Nick, are you surprised by that? Is that the right place? I don't know what you're smiling at.
I'm
But
laughing at our contracts because
oh yeah, yeah,
you just look at Falks and you're like, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
Um, uh,
Here,
but
I'll share it.
yeah, go ahead and share it. But the trade surplus is good. Like but the reason it's tilted so heavily in our favor is because of Rob's contract. So the way the Athletic put it is that Rob is pretty much severely underpaid for what he brings to the Blues and what we have him currently signed for. So
Yeah,
that contract grade for us is an A, which is the only A, like flat A, that we have on our team according to the Athletic. And honestly, I would agree with that at this point. I think Holloway's should be an A for sure. I mean, he's playing on a $2 million contract this year, and
yeah,
he is a stud. So I think he totally deserves an A. I would say Kairos it should be better than that, I think, too.
yeah,
Everything else is probably astute. Uh Buchnevic's one is bad. I understand where they're coming from there. I'm just going line by line on things that stick out.
yep,
Um, Fowler's is, I mean, he had a great year for us last year. I don't really mind that contract, honestly. So if that's going to be a C minus, then, I understand Falks, but I don't really understand Fowler's as much. I guess when you accumulate his entire year, when you include his stint with the Ducks in the beginning portion, maybe that's how they factored that in. But when he was on the Blues, he was solid.
yeah,
Hofer and Bennington's, yeah, like I don't really think there's much wiggle room there. I think that's probably fair. But yeah, I mean, overall, I would agree with a vast majority of these.
yeah.
And what did you say? They're 19th?
19th, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's interesting, but I think it's probably accurate.
Yeah, it's funny how so the worst one it looks like is the Braden Shen on the forwards, C
Oh,
minus,
Shen. I missed Shen completely.
which
Okay.
is accurate. That's
Yeah.
accurate.
Mhm.
But like, and it says positive value 13.4%. Like, I don't really know where they come up with those percentages, but I guess that's just subjective. But
I don't. I would love to know exactly. I'm assuming it's just taking in all the value they contribute on the ice versus
yeah,
what they pay, and then they would average that out with the rest of the league and who's getting paid 6.5 million and what they're
yeah,
bringing to their teams and versus what Shen would, and that's probably how they get this number.
yeah,
So I agree with it, especially in the last few years,
yeah.
but probably before that, I'm like, oh no, maybe a little bit higher, but yeah, that's a huge deficit there for Shen.
I
So
mean, I think that like I'm with you though. The fact that Dylan Holloway one isn't your top one, like obviously Thomas is at an 8.1 million is a steal right now, but a 60 some odd point 25 goal scorer is getting paid $2 million a year.
I think
Is
I understand why though,
just the art.
because you only have one more year of that
I see.
contract.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
I get why maybe you get downgraded to a minus there, but still good.
Yeah, but it's good to see that the new signings that we've had are all
Yeah,
ranked pretty nicely. So Suter and then Bukestad, and I mean 1.8 and 4.1 for pretty good players, two really
yeah,
good centers. I think is a good sign. And I'm not worried about Matthew Joseph and all that, but like the only other red I see though is the Falk and the Fowler. The Fowler one is tough to judge right now because he had a great season last year. I don't really understand how they came up with C minus, and being in the same wavelength as Falk because there is a miles difference between those two in the way that they played last season. So I think I'd rank that one better. Tucker, it's like he's getting paid 900,000 for 2 more years, so I don't really see an issue with that one, for especially with he's a third pairing forward or third pairing defenseman. So I think some of this is a little weird, but
yeah, his is fine. I don't have a
yeah,
problem with that.
yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say this is all accurate, but and then Bennington kind of in the red with the positive value, $6 million, to put up a 900 save percentage basically every year, more than that for most years. So we had 1 year below that.
$6
So
million's a lot for a goalie, though. Like when they signed him to that contract, I was like, man, that's a lot of money. I know why
it
you'd
is.
want to sign someone just won a Stanley Cup, but it's a lot. So I get why they would downgrade him a little bit. There's still a slight surplus on him, so he's still living up to that contract mostly.
Yeah,
So that is what it is. And Hofer's is the brand new one that he just signed this year. But
perfect.
prior to that, it was probably way better.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think, and this is not what we really planned on talking about, but I want to bring it up that this next 2 years is going to be really crucial for that Hofer Bennington little tandem, because I think they did that as kind of a bridge deal with Hofer, because it's like, okay, now you got 2 more years to see if you can be a lot better than Bennington, and then we can sign you for more or we'll let you go depending on what you do. Bennington's the same way. It's like, can you continue the performance that you've had the last 4 years, 5 years, to where this can be a consistent thing for longer? And I'm not sure if that's possible. So I think that when coming up to this year, I think Bennington is probably going to have the same amount of sort of starts as to kind of what he was getting this year, which is around 50, which is like, when you look at it, that means that, Hofer has to have 30 something, right? So that's a lot of starts. And like, I was listening to Chicklets the other day, and Henrik Lundqvist was on there, and he was the top goalie at the time. They call him the king, right? And he was called upon in his first couple years, because he was the guy. They weren't going to go with anybody else. He was called upon to do 70 starts at one point. 70. That is a lot of games. That doesn't really happen anymore. But but it's kind of decreasing as time goes on, kind of rotating more between the backup or the 1A or 1B, something like that. So kind of an interesting thing there with goalies in the NHL. But
it kind of gets into another topic as well. Like when Hellebuck won, he won the Vezina and he won the MVP of the. Didn't he win most valuable player?
Yeah.
And everyone was like, well, should a player that doesn't play every night or even more than like 65 games in a year be able to win a trophy like that? And I was like, it's kind of an interesting point, because obviously those positions are different when you're talking about a forward or defenseman versus a goalie, because a goalie will literally play the whole game and a forward and D-man won't.
Yeah.
But they also literally just sit out of, multiple games, 20 plus at least.
Yeah.
So it is weird when you're trying to compare that, but kind of a discussion for another time. But I don't know. I think the whole discussion is kind of interesting. Gotta keep tabs on it.
And I would not it would not shock me if Hofer gets over 30 starts next season, depending on how Bennington goes. But it's all dependent on what Bennington can do next year. Because if he puts up similar numbers to what he did this season, I would not doubt if Hofer gets more starts. Not that he played that badly this season, but you post a 900 save percentage. That isn't great. It's not horrible, but it's not great.
It's always about the playoffs for him, though.
Yeah,
I've always felt that way. If the Blues don't make the playoffs, which I guess they didn't 2 years ago, and he did have a very good year, but usually when we're able to make the playoffs this weekend, that's where Bennington plays his best hockey, and that's where he earns contracts like that. Yep. That is the story of his career pretty much. Yep. So he's not the best regular season goalie in the world, but when you do trust him a lot more when you get into the playoffs, and he did it again this year. I felt like he played pretty well.
Oh yeah, so no, he played great again. Yeah, and that's what you expect from him. But you're right, and you can't expect that from Hofer right now, because he just is not that proven yet. So wanted to touch on that, talk about the contract landscape. One more thing of Blues news that happened in the last couple weeks here. Justin Carbonneau makes the World Junior team for Team Canada. Bummer we can't root for him, but he is making the team, which will be really fun to see. And judging how the next 2 seasons go along, he may not be on the team for the Blues, but he'll get 2 years of World Junior action, which will be really, really fun to see how he can play for them, and probably be their better players on that team. So really fun to watch that in a few months, which I'm already looking forward to because it was so fun last year. And luckily, our U.S. guys won. Wanted to briefly touch on those, and then now let's talk about Central Division. So we mentioned it a little bit in a couple of our episodes. It's like, all right, when we looked at the schedule, it's like, all right, who are the Blues going to really face around the whole season, and what are going to be their challenges along the way, the road trips, and all of that. And we settled on some good stuff, but we didn't really talk about the Central Division entirely, but we wanted to focus on it today. Here's some background. From last season, the Central Division total was 735 points throughout the entire season. That was second to the Atlantic, who got 737, so 2 points more, which, Atlantic was probably the most competitive division this year. Toronto, Tampa, and the Panthers. Those are some great teams. And maybe a little bit different this year with Toronto. Who knows? Without Marner. But Tampa Panthers are going nowhere, and the Senators or Canadians are only getting better. So you can't expect that to be – that's probably going to be the most competitive division from a long time. But the Central was right there. And I think it's so different when comparing those two divisions, because I think when you look at the three, the Toronto, Tampa Panthers, you can always expect them to somewhat be there the last couple of years, whether it's 1-2-3 or 2-3, 2-3-1, whatever. But the Central is always such a toss-up, and it's going to be another toss-up this year, I think, because Dallas, I bet, is going to be the team that has stayed mostly the same this year when it comes to the players that they've had. But every other team looks a little different. Talking about Winnipeg, the team that the Blues lost to in horrific fashion, they got worse this offseason. And they lost a huge guy in Ehlers. They lost Mason Appleton. They gained Jonathan Toews. So, does gaining Jonathan Toews make up for losing Nikolai Ehlers? Absolutely not. And the guy hasn't played in the league in like 3 years. So, talking about the Jets first, how do we rate them? Are they going to be a Blues kryptonite this year, or can we expect some good performances from the Blues against those guys?
I think they should be much more beatable in the regular season than they were last year. I mean, they were a wagon last year. President's Trophy winners. Yep. They won a lot of hockey games in the playoffs that obviously, we should have ended that in the first round last year, or this past season. But I would imagine they're still going to be a good hockey team. I did take the liberty of asking Grok what the sources are saying about the Central Division, and it was kind of wild. I mean, most of them no. Like, Colorado, Dallas are locks to make the playoffs. I think everyone could probably acknowledge that one.
Yeah.
Even though there's been a lot of movement on Colorado, especially in the offseason in their D-core, but the Jets were a shoo-in according to Grok, and Nashville was supposed to come back from the grave and make a playoff run. And us, Utah, and Minnesota are likely to be bubble teams. And I was like, interesting. They got Chicago right, likely to be a lottery team again. So that's good. But I think the Jets will be good. I think they won't be number one in the division like they were last year. But I do think they'll probably be top 4 and still compete at a relatively high level, because Hellebuck's a great regular season goalie, as we know. Yeah. Kyle Connor's still a dog. So, I mean, they still have a decent team, and they'll probably accumulate a good amount of points, but nowhere near last year, I would imagine.
Yeah. We'll go step by step here with the teams, because I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. But with the Jets, you're right that they have those key guys still. Connor, Iafallo, Perfetti, Scheifele, Morrissey, Pion, Hellebuck. Like, those are their guys, and those are some great players. So cannot count against that at all. But they play with Ehlers. They played without Ehlers for a while this season, so they're kind of used to that. And I think they were okay with letting go of him. He would have wanted a lot for his contract. But yeah, I could probably see them staying in the top 4 for sure. But I don't think they're going to be a President's Cup trophy team again, and unless Connor Hellebuck has another insane year, which is possible. But I don't know if I wonder if this season just that playoff performance especially kind of gets in his head a little bit for this upcoming season. Wouldn't doubt it. But it really hasn't stopped him before because he's had some bad playoff performances in the
He's had some
past.
stinkers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But so we'll see what happens with the Jets. They also gained Gus Nyquist, but it's a bottom 6 guy who was pretty good for a while. So he's on their team this year. Yeah, the Stars for me are my number one headed into this year for the Central Division rankings. As I said before, they really haven't changed much. The only thing that their biggest change was firing DeBoer, which was a big thing and related to those comments that he said about Ottinger. And I don't really know too much about that coach with that they hired. Doesn't really seem like he did a whole lot in his past. But DeBoer was a very well proven coach. So I think that may be a change for them. He just never has been able to win in the NHL in terms of the big time in the cup. They got Foxa back from the Blues. And they signed some other guys, Nate Bastian, a couple others. And their biggest departures were Cody Ceci, and Mikhail Granlund. There was rumor that Mikhail Granlund would come to the Blues. He didn't. Forget where he signed. I don't remember that. But either way, he's gone. But I really don't see that affecting them too much because Cody Ceci he's a good defenseman, top 4, but it's really not going to affect that much. I think their defense is plenty good already. So I think they can really give the Blues some hell this year like they did this year. They lost all 4 games against the Stars this year, which was a shame. Can they do better this year? Absolutely, and I would hope so. They cannot go 0-8 over the 2 seasons against those guys. That'd be pretty insane. But they got their same team back. Matt Duchene, Jamie Benn, Johnston, Sam Steele, Colin Blackwell, I mean, you name it. And then obviously still have Jason Robertson and Rantanen and Hintz. Like, that's just an insane team right there. And I don't expect them to really go anywhere.
It's a good team. I do think the jury is still out on the Mikko Rantanen experiment there. I know that they made it to the Western Conference Finals this past season. They did not look great throughout the playoffs, and it did seem like they were a bit lost at times. So I don't know. I think they will be good again this year for sure. I'm not sure that they have exactly what it takes to win a Stanley Cup, but surely they'll probably be pretty close to it there when it's all said and done. But I don't know yet. I think it's an interesting team. They have a lot of star power, but I don't think that they've necessarily solved all of their issues yet. So I'll be interested to watch them.
The funny thing about the Rantanen experiment is that, like, yes, it didn't go well for the couple months there. He had a couple strains of glory, especially in the playoffs for a little bit. But besides that, like, it really could just change on a dime with a full camp with that guy because he was only on the team for so long. You get traded at the deadline. Sometimes you can't really mix in that well, which is fair. But if you get a full camp at him and maybe he can try and figure out the more Stars playing style, would not doubt if he has a 100-point year this year as well. He is absolutely capable of that. So
I could see that as well.
Yeah, exactly. So Stars are going to be deadly, and would not doubt if they're the number 1 in the Central this year, which is dangerous. But hopefully the Blues can rattle off at least a game or 2 off those guys, maybe even more, because they rattled off 3 against Colorado this year, who's our next team, and they're going to look a little different this year. And Mikko Rantanen is gone. So the big 3 that they had there, perfection. It's like that Bergeron, Marchand, Pasternak line for Boston that's gone. That now that perfect part is gone now for the Avalanche. They have Landeskog back healthy. Not sure if he's going to be the same guy. He looked okay in the playoffs when he came back. But they traded the Charlie Coyle and Miles Wood, who they got in the trade deadline last year, for a couple picks. And then they added Brent Burns, who was on the Hurricanes this year, and another young guy, Alex Barré-Boulet, and they extended Brock Nelson. But lost Eric Johnson and Jonathan Drouin and Ryan Lindgren. I don't think that's going to affect them too much. So you have pretty complete team still. You still have McKinnon, Marty Necas, Nichushkin, Nelson, Makar, Taves, and your starter is Mackenzie Blackwood now, which that's been kind of the issue the last couple of years for the Avalanche. They have not been able to find a secure goalie starter and that can be trustworthy throughout the whole season. And I'm sure John Kane could probably back me up on that one, Nick. So they found Blackwood and he played okay, but couldn't get him to the promised land. So what's going to be the outlook for them this year? Probably the top 4, but I don't think they're going to be number 1. I don't see that happening.
I think they'll probably be pretty similar to where they were last year. I don't really see how they got much better. They just have really, really great, top players in the league, and McKinnon and Cale Makar. And when you have those guys, it doesn't really feel like you're ever going to be that bad. So I think Necas is a big question mark for them. I could absolutely see him getting dealt at the deadline if things don't go better than what happened with him last season on the Avalanche. So that's probably something they're kicking themselves over, losing Mikko Rantanen and gaining Necas. But I don't think that, I don't think they got a lot better. I think losing Druin is probably going to hurt a little bit. I'm not sure how much, but I don't know if Brent Burns is going to be able to really do much to replace that. But I don't know. I don't think it'll matter all that much.
Well, Burns is coming. Yeah, Burns has come back to get the coveted cup because he hasn't been able to do it, and I think he's like 39, close to 40. I think he's an old dude.
It seems like Colorado though, like they could. I could see a world where they win the Stanley Cup, but it's also a window thing. Like they've been in this competitive window for a really, it's been years now. I mean, they won in 2021 or 2022.
22, yeah.
And they easily could have won it in 2021, 2020, 2023, 2024, and this past year, and they haven't.
Yeah.
So those are all missed opportunities that you kind of have to look at as a fan, where you're like, there's only so many chances we're going to get with the two of some of the best players in the NHL, top 10 players in the NHL, and they're only going to get older. So I would be a little bit worried if I were them, just because you don't really know where they're at in their window. There could be plenty of room. You never know, but it's been a long time, and they've only had one to hoist, which it's hard to win a Stanley Cup, but still something in the back of your mind you got to think about.
I mean, I think that besides Dallas, they have probably the best decor in the Central. Dallas has Harley and Heiskanen and Lindell. That's awesome. And then you look at them, they have the top 10. They have 2, maybe top 5, but at least top 10 defensemen in the league with Makar and Devon Taves. So that's lethal. And they have Burns, but Burns won't be near the top 2 at all. So I think that their whole thing is if they can figure out the defense there a little bit, then wouldn't be shocked if they're also competing for that number 1 spot in the Central this year. And if they can figure out the offense as well with their top 6. So interesting stuff with the Avalanche. Hopefully we can rattle off 3 wins against them. That'd be awesome again this year. Because again, as we talked about a lot in this is that Avalanche have been the Blues kryptonite the last couple years. And they found a way to get through them a couple of times the regular season. Chicago, I love talking about Chicago because they're going to suck again this year. And I'm sorry, like I hate to say it, but I'm not afraid to say it. They just hired this guy from the Red Wings, Jeff Blashill, who replaced their old coach. And he was Red Wings for, I think, about 7 years. And he made the playoffs one time, lost in the first round, never made the playoffs again, and then got fired 6 years later, which that's a long time to go with the coach without making the playoffs. But shows how bad the Red Wings have been for a long time. But also it's like maybe it comes to the coaching as well. They didn't really do much when it comes to the overall season so far in the offseason. They lost Pat Maroon, sorry. And then they added Andre Burakovsky, who's a good player, and a couple others. But they still have Bedard. They got Tyler Bertuzzi. They have Nick Foligno, Ryan Donato, who had a great season this year, Teuvo Teravainen, and then Spencer Knight, their starter. All just guys who you just don't know what you're going to get out of next season, unfortunately for them. It's just that's it. And then it's funny. Those were all forwards and then a goalie. I didn't say any of their defensemen because they're all unproven guys. 5 of the 6 D besides Connor Murphy are below the age of 24 with little NHL experience. That is a problem, and that is a recipe for disaster next season. I don't see that boding well for the Blackhawks at all.
I don't think there's much to say about Chicago. I really don't. They have some players, but there's no consistency up and down the lineup. I don't see them being any better than they were last year. Maybe some mild improvements, but no.
Yeah, I'm with you. So we'll move on to the Blackhawks real quick because there's not much to talk about. Nashville, they traded Colton Sissons and Jeremy Lauzon for Nick Hague and also acquired Eric Kalla. And they're just, I really don't think that they're going to be the team that Grok said they would be at all. I really don't think. So I don't know how you feel about that, but I just think that they're going to be pretty similar because they just haven't made any serious progress with how they were being the second last team in that division last year. So
it was a fascinating experiment with them. Like 2 years ago, they just went on a heater, kind of like the Blues did this past year, and then forged their path into the playoffs, where they first round exit as well. And then a complete drop off the face of the earth last season, where they're one of the worst teams, struggled to get wins in any capacity. And I guess this really creates a huge question mark for this year, where I could see them being okay. But I could see a world where they just kind of continue where they left off from this past year. But they have decent players. It's not really about that. So I don't know. They will be an interesting one to watch this year.
Yeah, and they got a goalie problem, UC Saros. If he can figure it out, they could be okay. And then Minnesota, that's going to be one the Blues, I think, is going to be really vying for a playoff spot with. They got Tarasenko, didn't really get anybody else, and they acquired a few other guys. But mainly they lost a lot of guys. They lost Nyquist, Freddie Gaudreau, Marc-Andre Fleury retired. So kind of is a question mark for them. I think they're going to be really good. Again, Kaprizov, if he stays healthy, they're going to be vying for a top 3 spot for sure, I think, and competing with the Blues for that. I think we can both agree on that.
They'll be good. I think Minnesota is going to be a big rival for us this year, and Utah for that matter. But I think they're similar to where we are right now, and it'll be a big game every time we play both of those teams.
Yeah. I mean, Utah is going to be interesting too. They've added and have not lost much. They only lost Nick Bukestad, who's on the Blues now, and they acquired Stanley Cup champion Nate Schmidt, Brandon Tanev, another goalie in Vanacek, and Scott Perunovich, funny enough. So we'll see how that experiment goes. Curious. But yeah, I think the point of this, though, I think that the big rivals obviously is going to be that Colorado Stars, Winnipeg, but I think it's also going to be with Utah and Minnesota. I think at the end of the day, those are going to be those 5 teams that are going to really see if the Blues can get any trouble from them, because those are going to be the most important games too.
Agreed.
So Utah always gives the Blues some struggles too, but they won that huge game last season. So Nick has to go soon. So we're going to skip the Instagram follower hot takes for now. And then we're going to jump straight into the Blues by the Decade draft. We're going to make this quick, Nick. So I'm going to pull this up and we're going to do this. It doesn't have to, it'll be really quick. So see who can build the best team. Rules are simple. We're going to draft 3 forwards, 2 defensemen, and 1 goalie from each decade of the Blues, not including the 60s, which were only 3 years. So we just put that as the 70s. So we got the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and the 2020s. So we're gonna spin the wheel for every single one on all these colors related to the Blues kind of colors that season. So thought I'd add that in there. But we're gonna go first. Nick, you get 1 skip for any of the ones you don't want to choose from. And again, 3 forward, 2 defensemen, and a goalie. You got it?
Okay.
All right, Nick, you go first. The wheel is spinning. All right, 2020 is an easy one already.
Oh, wow.
What are you going to start off with?
I can choose any position.
Any position. And this is strategic.
Okay. Dang. Oh, so tempting.
It's really tempting.
I'm gonna go Rob.
Okay,
Robert Thomas.
Rob's the first pick for Nick, and all right, we'll put that on there. Give me a second while I put it on there. So Thomas is there, and all right, it's on my little Excel sheet. I'll remember that. All right, me next. Here we go. I am hoping for 80s, please. Dang, man.
Oh wow.
Okay, so I'm gonna get this out of the way early, and I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna go with Jordan Bennington.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I have
That's
to.
so funny.
He is the number. He's the wins leader of the Blues in their history over 6 years of playing with them. So, give me Benner. Lock it in. All
Goalie
right.
in the first round is really interesting.
I love that. Actually, I love it. Okay. All right. You next. Oh boy, 2010s for the kid.
Interesting. Okay. I'm gonna go with Blues legend, Stanley Cup champion, and then another Stanley Cup also with another team, which was sad, but Alex Pietrangelo.
Oh, okay. Good pick, honestly. Okay.
Thank you.
Pietrangelo to, I thought you may have, I thought you were going with Sanko for that.
Absolutely not. No.
Okay. Absolutely not. All right. Give me a good one here. 2000s again. All right. So I'm going to go with Chris Pronger.
Yep.
Played for the Blues in the 2000s as well as the 90s, but give me Pronger. It's retired number for the Blues as well in the rafters. All right. Pronger for me. Here we go.
Okay.
Oh, 2000s again.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry about this audio.
Oh man. Geez, this is so hard. Such a great decade.
Oh, it's a great decade.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with God,
there's a time limit.
I'm gonna go with Pavel Demitra.
Pavel Demitra. Wow. All right. So you're gonna go with Demitra. I'm gonna get it down. Demitra. I don't think that's how you spell it. And then you also have Thomas.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. You got three. You got three more to go. You still haven't picked a goalie. This could be dangerous.
I'm good. Feel great about it.
All right. This is when it gets interesting. All right.
Ooh.
All right.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I gotta go with Brett Hull. I mean, just give me that guy. Give me that guy quick. All right. He's my first guy on the forwards. You have two forwards and one defenseman. You need one more forward, a defenseman, and a goalie.
Yep.
Okay. All right. You now haven't got anything past or before the 2000s, and he still hasn't. Oh, it's just,
dude.
Just sad. I don't know what he's gonna do now.
Yeah. Really unfortunate. Could play well. Oh God. I'm gonna go Tarasenko.
Okay.
I just couldn't pick Shattenkirk. It wouldn't have felt right.
Yeah, I agree.
And I wasn't gonna pick Elliott either.
All right. Thomas, Tarasenko, and Demitra. So two Russians and the kid. Okay. All right. All right. Let's see what happens.
I may
Still
be
need a
screwed
defenseman
here.
and a goalie from you.
Yeah.
I need 2 forwards and a defenseman. Ooh, 80s. All right.
It's a good year. Good decade.
It is. It is. All right. I mean, I'm gonna do it again. I did it on my mock last night. Give me Adam Oates. Adam Oates, the Hall and Oates, the Hall and Oates duo. I mean, come on, Adam Oates. All right,
You got it.
all right. Okay, that is. I need another forward, and then another defenseman. Just need a defenseman and a goalie.
Yeah.
Oh, we're in the 70s.
Oh, give me that fella. Yeah.
And you want?
Oh man. No.
Wait, do you not know who this guy's name is?
No, I do. I'm just kind of caught in the middle now
Oh,
because
okay.
I want both of them. I'm gonna be safe and go with Glenn Hall though.
Glenn Hall as the goalie.
The Hall of Famer Glenn Hall and consummate and Vezina winner. Yeah,
Okay.
that one.
When goalies weren't wearing masks, but yes.
Nope, doesn't matter. It's
You're
about
correct.
the accolades. Don't compare eras, Lou. Not here.
Okay. All right. Good choice. So he's got the goalie. Need one more defenseman.
I'm gonna have to pick Shattenkirk for sure. It's gonna be such a bummer.
All right. The 90s again. All right. So I have a full 90s line right now. Okay. So I got to really think about this here. Who was with Brett Hull and Adam Oates besides Wayne Gretzky? I'm not going to do that. Because we said that before the show. We're not going to do Wayne Gretzky.
No Gretzky.
No Gretzky. I want to make sure that this guy played for the Blues in the 90s. So let me double check this. I just want to make sure. But I was going to say, okay, he didn't. So I'm glad I checked that.
Who?
I was going to say Brian Sutter, but he was in the 80s.
Oh.
So I apologize to Pops for that horrible misidentification. I'm trying to think who was on the Blues in the 90s that would have been somebody crazy. God, they had such good teams in the 90s too.
Is it a forward or defenseman?
Forward.
Okay. Dude, the guy was just on Chiclets.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna say that now that you said that. He's talking about Pierre Turgeon, which would have been good. I'm taking too long. I gotta think about this here. Because they had that Hall and Oates, and there wasn't anybody like other than that super crazy.
Shot clock.
You know what? Give me Rod Brindamore. Give me Rod Brindamore. 90s. Yeah. There's not much else I can do there. There's just not much else. All right. Now the head coach of the Hurricanes. All right.
I have to go.
All right, you have to go now?
No. I have a defenseman.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You have to go, and then you'll go. Okay. One more. Yeah, you're sure gonna have to pick Shattenkirk. Oh!
Yeah. Honestly, that's not great, but
it's not great. But you're gonna go with Parayko, aren't you?
Parayko, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Pietrangelo, Parayko. That's solid. Okay.
That's pretty good. That won a Stanley Cup, if I recall.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay. I'm not feeling good at that Brindamore pick at all. I'm really not.
No, I think that may be your demise because you were looking pretty good.
I was
that pick.
My dad's gonna be in fumes. And I got the 90s again, dude. Oh my god. Okay, this is easy. Okay, I'm gonna go Pronger McKinnon.
Yeah,
Pronger McKinnon. That's actually huge. I should have just done. I should have done that for the first one.
Probably,
and then thought of it more. But I literally have a 90s team, dude. Like I have 90s. I have 90s plus Biddington.
Oh man, I love my team that we have right now. I want that team on the ice.
So okay, we're gonna share this screen and make sure to comment, and we'll put on a little reel as well to see who put on the best team here to give you perspective to who's ever's listening. This is what we have. If it's gonna show up, there we go. All right, this is not Pops. We were doing it last night. This is Nick. So whoever does it, who do you think? Hull, Oates, Brittamore, Bronk, Pronger, McInnes, Pinner, Dimitra, I didn't spell that right, but Thomas, Tarasenko, Petro, Pareko, and Glenn Hall. Who has the better one? Comment in the comment section. See who did. I think you may edge me on this one just because of the Brittamore pick.
Oh yeah, man.
But actually,
I think Vladdy versus Brendamore. Come on.
But I think I even it out with the Pronger McInnes. Those are two Hall of Famers right there. And
I mean, Pietrangelo is going to be a Hall of Famer for sure.
Who knows? Who knows?
He'll be good. Yeah.
But that's the story right there.
Oh, wait. What about your, like, if we're going by Hall of Fame status, then Hall would get in over Bennington if that's what we're doing.
Correct. But also Jordan Bennington has the franchise record in wins of the Blues. So
didn't win a Conn Smythe or a Vezina.
But he also won a Stanley Cup. So that's beside the point.
Okay, so that's what we're doing then.
Correct.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Pronger and McInnes didn't win a Stanley Cup.
They did not. But I think Pronger won with the Ducks. Let's not forget.
And Pareko. That's right. Pareko and Petro both did. And Tarasenko and Robert Thomas.
Dimitra did not. But Brett Hull won. Don't know if Adam Oates won. But Rod Brittamore did. Chris Pronger did. Jordan Bennington. Not sure about McInnes.
It's got to be on the Blues, though. It's got to be on the Blues.
Well, I'm just saying, like, in their careers, though, they did. But yes, you're right. Okay, one other thing before we go. We wanted to single out the hot takes real quick. Because
I got to run. But
okay, you got to run. All right.
You run.
I'll finish it out. All right, Nick. Okay. See you soon, brother.
See you guys.
Okay, so wanted to get this real quick out because I put it out on the Instagrams and we needed to talk about it. So briefly, we wanted to talk about the follower hot takes that we had for today. So the ones that I thought that were adequate in talking about were the following. Let me pull them up real quick so I can share them. So segment 4, Instagram hot takes. Here we go. So I thought we had some good ones. I'm going to rate them and see. Hopefully, I wish Nick was here for him, but it's okay.
I'm back.
Oh, Nick's back. Okay. Sorry.
You're time.
Okay, cool. So we're talking about the Instagram follower hot takes right now. And the first one here from at Aunt Lal's 255. Top 3 finish in the division. What do we think? Sorry.
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I still think we're going to make the playoffs. I don't think, frankly, it matters all that much for a top 3. I just think being competitive, making sure you're in the playoffs, and then you go from there. It would be great, but the Central's loaded.
Yeah.
And I do see a world, and I'd hate to be this guy, but there is a reason that not everyone is clamoring that the Blues are going to be this juggernaut of a team next season. Like, they didn't get drastically better in the offseason. They lost in the first round. They barely snuck into the playoffs. So I hate to be a pessimist. I think they're trending in a great direction, but I'm not going to be surprised if they don't have like over 100 points and are consistently beating Dallas and Colorado and going back and forth in the top 3 and switching off between 1, 2, 3. Like, that's not something I'm necessarily expecting you to be great, but I'm going to say no for those reasons.
Okay. And I would agree. I think that this team's a wild card team again this year, but they absolutely are capable of the top 3. I just don't know how you're going to be able to get past that Winnipeg, Colorado, Dallas wall that they've built. It's a real wall, unfortunately. And I don't think the Wild are going to be. I think the Wild are going to be pretty much in similar territory. Maybe they can find a way, but we will absolutely see. I hope that they can surprise us, because I would love to be in a top 3 position heading into the playoffs with better chances than last season against the President's Cup winner. Kyle_Cross said Cup champions with 4 beer emojis. How are we feeling about that? I will say Vegas doesn't agree with you, Kyle. 17 best odds to win the Cup this year, behind Utah, the Wild, Rangers, Capitals, the Devils, and more. What do we think?
Very, very, far shot. Probably unrealistic for this year, if we're being honest with ourselves, but love the mentality. I mean, when they started playing really good hockey down the stretch last season, I definitely was like, oh, well, like that's not that far out of reach at this point.
Yep.
But I think the 17 best odds to win the Cup isn't necessarily completely out of order. I don't think Utah has a better chance than we do. I don't think the Rangers do. I don't think the Capitals do. I don't think the Devils do. So I don't agree with those, but we're definitely probably not deserving of like a top 8 or even like a top 10 odds. But there's always a possibility that you can do it. But I don't really think it's going to be this year.
I would agree, but we're trying in the right direction, Kyle. That's what I would say. Gianni Vigna, Snuggerud wins the Calder. And this may be one of the better hot takes that we have here. Plus 1,400 odds to win the Calder this year, behind Ryan Leonard, Alex Nikizhin, Zane Parika, Ivan Demidov, all those guys, which I don't even know. But there's some really good players here. But Snuggerud can absolutely do that, I think. And I would not be shocked. Last Blue to do it, Nick. I told you this last night, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Barrett Jackman, baby. He had 19 points that year, by the way. No year he won it. So I'm not sure how that happened. But either way, so he wouldn't be the first Blue to do it. And the last one to be even a finalist was Jordan Binnington in 2019. So
I love this one. I think this could totally happen if he plays anything like he did when he joined the Blues in April. He's got a really good chance, which is the reason he's 5th in odds. So I really like this one.
I agree. I would say that you're not far off, Gianni. I think at least he's going to be a finalist for the Calder, and the next one is he will be a Calder Trophy finalist from Taz Devil 714. More likely to happen for sure, but would be amazing and would be a great sign for the Blues overall prospect development. Daniel Ross 9 said Logan Mailloux solidifies himself as a top young defenseman in the NHL. I think it's possible, especially with how limited his minutes have been in Montreal. But the fact that he's an everyday player too sounds like it could happen. But it's tough to be a really solidified young defenseman in this league. There's a lot of really good ones, but if he can stand out, it would be awesome. But I don't know if he can reach that status this year.
Very cautiously optimistic about this one. Again, not a very strong sample size to work with in the NHL. I think he's got a lot of good upside, but I really, really, really want this to happen. If that makes anyone feel better, because if it does, then the Blues are going to be in a really, really good spot.
Yeah, if he can become like a Broberg, someone like that could be an awesome thing for the Blues. Final one, Louis Sarnasek, Holloway, 40-goal season this year. Bold. That's what I would say about this. Vladdy was the last one to do it in the 15-16 season alongside a bunch of Blues before him. But if that does happen, which I don't think it will, I think 30 goals is absolutely in the parameters for sure. 30 to 35, I think, is his ceiling. But if he can, awesome, would love it. But you're going to be paying that guy $10 million a year if that happens. So, which I don't know if is the best thing, but if he sees 40 goals a year, I'll take it.
Yeah, I would say no on this one. And you're right. If he scores 40 goals, they're going to have to pay him an absolute bag next year and for a lot of years after that.
So that wouldn't be ideal. I obviously want him to succeed and be very good. I think he will probably score at least 25 goals and, probably 60 plus points.
Yeah.
So high hopes, but 40 is a lot. And Cairo is probably the most likely to do it of anyone on the team.
Yep, I would agree. And the other one was Canes would beat the Blues 8 times out of 10 from Nick Van Arnhem, who's a Hurricanes fan from BC. Not going to address that one because it's wrong, and not a very good take. I'm sorry, but anyway, that wraps it up. Nick, I know you got to go, but thanks guys for tuning in, and hope you guys can tune in for the debut tomorrow morning, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Blues coming up very soon. Blues hockey in the preseason, just about a month until their first preseason game. So looking forward to that. Until then, be on the lookout. Maybe one more episode until then, and maybe some guests. Who knows? We'll keep you posted on all that. But until then, have a great rest of the summer and see you soon.
See you guys.